Welcome, Kimberly. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. How is everyone this morning on this beautiful Tuesday morning?
Great.
Wonderful.
Awesome. I'm hearing, so I get some thumbs up. You guys ready to take on the day?
Yes.
Yeah. Not quite sure yet. I think we're still waking up, huh? Well, good morning. I'm so excited that you guys were able to join us this morning. And Lisa, thank you so much for the invitation to spend this early morning with everybody. I really appreciate that. So this morning, we're going to be talking about bringing your best self to work. And as Lisa mentioned, my name is Kimberly Vissak, and I'm with Build a Team Consultants. And our really objective today is to give you some ideas to start thinking about certain things, because we have 30 minutes. So I want to just kind of give you some thought-provoking things that you can take through the rest of the day and through the rest of the week. So I'm going to have you guys take a little bit of a journey with me. So when you think about bringing your best self to work, where does that need to start? Who does that need to start with?
Us.
Yeah.
And I just muted everyone. You want me to unmute everyone?
Yeah, why don't you unmute if you don't mind? Yes,
Oh,
please.
I don't mind at all.
I like the conversation.
Okay, done.
All right.
Well,
so it starts with us. Oh yeah, I see everyone unmuted.
okay.
There we go. So it starts with us, right? So when you think about bringing your best self to work, we also have to realize about how we as people can do that. So when you think about your day and what you have total control over, what do you have total control over?
Ourselves.
What else?
Activities.
I'm sorry?
Our activities. Hi, Kimberly.
Good morning. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Our activities, yes.
Our attitudes.
Our attitudes, nice one. What else?
Our behavior.
Yes.
How we respond.
How we respond, very good. Do those things influence others?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. So I think part of understanding the ability to bring your best self to work is also understanding that you have total control over you and the power to influence those around you. We sometimes forget that we influence everyone around us based on our reactions and our behaviors. So for me to post something online, to have a conversation with somebody, to publish an article, all those things influence those around us. And so when you think about bringing your best self to work, it does start internally, but we also have to remember what the power of who we are contributes to everyone around us, and how that one little thing that we said or that reaction that we had influences those around us. So I'd like to have you guys think about how we can start doing that. If you don't already, will you grab a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, something to write with in front of you? Bringing our best self to work starts with identifying some of our key roles and relationships in our lives. So what I'd like you to do on that piece of paper is I'd like you to write the word role, and then give yourself a little space, and then write the word statement. So I'm going to have you right now think about a role that we play, because I think it's safe to say that we wear many hats. Do we wear as many hats as our parents did?
Sometimes I think more, but sometimes less.
Yeah, that's really good, Lisa, you're right. And I think for all of us, depending on probably our age group, that may be a little bit of a different answer. But think about your parents and what they had to do every day. Now think about your grandparents and what they had to do every day. Is what gets thrown at us today a lot more intense than our parents or even our grandparents had to deal with?
I think so, just because of all the other competing, they didn't have cell phones. They didn't have,
Social
you
media.
know, things dinging on them
Technology.
all the time. You know, yes, they had distractions, but I think with technology, we have a lot more distractions today.
Mickey, could not agree with you more. You're absolutely, research shows us that even 25 years ago, we had to juggle a handful of balls. Now we literally are juggling dozens of things every single day. And in order for us to bring our best selves to work, we have to first ground ourselves with what exactly does that mean? And we do that with identifying some key roles and relationships in our lives and how what we do affects them. So I'm going to have you guys think about one role, and then this is an activity I'll have you do later on. But as you think about what this role is, I want you to think about some of these key things. A role in your life represents those key responsibilities and relationships. So when I think about a role for me, one role that comes to mind immediately is a mother. I'm a mother. I have a 16, almost 17-year-old son. I have a 22-year-old granddaughter or stepdaughter, and I have a 27-year-old stepson. So role of mother is an important role to me. It represents a key responsibility for me. Also think about what do these roles, they express your deepest values and your highest aspirations. So when you think about the roles we play every day, even though there's going to be dozens of them, when you think about some of the key roles those key hats that you wear on a regular basis and that you need to focus on a daily basis, and realize that they change over time. 17 years ago, my son was born. So that took on a whole nother life for me, right? As a mother. The career that I have now is not the same career that I had 10 years ago. So that adjusted and I took on different roles. So your roles can change over time. Here's some examples of some roles, and I hope you guys can see that on the screen, but I want you to take a minute and think about at least one role that you play every single day. And I'll give you just a minute to think about that. Here's some on the screen that you can pull from, or you can create your own. And I'll have you write that down next to role on your piece of paper. All right, does everyone have a role written down, or do you need another minute?
I'm good.
Good.
Thank you. All right, so now that you've thought about your role, now we're going to think about a clarifying statement that goes with that role. So the role I'm using is, for an example, is I'm mother to my son, Logan. So when I think about bringing my best self to work and the power that I have to influence those around me, and that I only have total control over my actions, can I control what my son does every day?
No.
No, under the role of mother. Now my son's going on 17. So ideally, when I think about the role, I want to think about what do I need to do every single day to contribute to Logan being successful and to contribute to Logan having the value system that is important to me, but also I think to him. I have to demonstrate those behaviors that I want him to realize and to see about me. So we're going to write a clarifying statement now to this role that grounds you in everything you do around this person. So I'm going to take you on a little journey as you think about what this statement could look like or should look like. So I'm going to have everybody humor me for a minute. You guys feeling adventurous? Maybe a little bit, maybe it's too early. So I'm going to have everyone close your eyes for a second. And I'm going to take you on a journey. We are walking into a very crowded room. And we're thinking, wow, what's going on in here? There's a lot of people. As we start to walk around, we realize I recognize a lot of these people. They're friends, family, people that I haven't seen in years. And as I'm walking around, I realize that, wow, people look kind of sad. Quickly to realize that I'm at a funeral. My heart sinks. Oh my goodness. Who did I miss that passed? I know all these people. So as I start to look around, trying to discover who of my close friends, family have passed, as I walk to the front of the room, I quickly realize it's me. You're at your funeral. Now I want you to turn around and look back at the people. Who's there? Who's not there? Now I want you to listen real closely into the conversations. What are they saying? What are they not saying? All right, you can open your eyes. What you heard people saying or not saying is the basis for your statement. We want people to remember us a certain way at the end of our lives, whether we think about it that way or not. Our goal is to bring our best self to every day so that we can be remembered in how we wanted to live. Nobody wants to sit and think about the end of their lives and realize that not many people showed up to my funeral. And those that were there made comments that I don't want to hear. But in order for us to live our best self, in order for us to have the impact on people that is important to us, we have to bring our key values and our key attributes to every single day and influence all those around us. The only person that can decide how you want your legacy to be is you. I'm using a personal example as a mother, but that's not the only role I play. I also have a role of influencer, which is work related, but also personally related. Your role should represent those key items in your life, and they change over time. If you sit down and actually laid out all of your roles, you're going to come up with 20 different hats that you wear, right? 20 different roles. Well, you can't focus on all those every day. So the idea is that you think about those key roles that rotate. There are some that will be there every day, and you always focus on those. So when you think about your statement should represent your relationship with this person. So I'll share my statement. So my statement, when I think about my role as a mother and how I want to influence him and how I want to be remembered by him, is to live with integrity, show respect to everyone, and be a positive influencer with all those people that you interact with. And above all, never forget and always know that you are loved. Now, this statement around my role for Logan as a mother, that doesn't change. That's been there for 15 and a half years. But what does change is how I interact with him on a daily basis. I need to choose activities in my day that represent this statement. Because reality is that at the end of my life, I want Logan to be able to say, my mom loved me so much, and I never doubted that 1 minute. She taught me to be good to everybody and to respect everybody for who they are. If I want that, then I have to live that way every day. If I'm out and about with my son and I don't show respect to somebody, I'm not being my best self. I'm not living the vision and the legacy that I want. So we need to take just a second and think about what that clarifying statement would be for the role that you wrote down. The idea is that you have a statement for each of your roles. So a little activity you can do after today is to take a moment. I'd actually recommend putting, if you've never done this before, putting like 30 minutes aside. Do it before you go to bed tonight. Do it when you're relaxing. It's the end of your day. You're sitting on the couch, you know, with a beverage of choice, and you're sitting there going, okay, I'm going to think through the rest of my roles. But be at a place where you can truly think about those things that matter most to you and write down your roles and your statements. When you do that, think about that these roles create that balance for you in life. You really only want to limit yourself to a handful of roles that you focus on a daily basis. Because if I wrote down all 15 of my roles, I can't focus on those every single day. We're only human. Right? We want to be superhuman. I wish I was superwoman. I wish I have got, I think I have one of those as a role, you know, so I want to be superwoman, right? We all want to be that superman or superwoman. But realize that on any given day, I can only really focus on 5 to 7. That's all our brains can actually allow us to do every day. So with that, then what I do is I pull in 5 to 7 of my key roles every week. And when I write my weekly to-do list, my weekly goals for the week, I write a task associated to that role. And that's how I'm going to focus on that role. So if you schedule the time to make sure that you're accounting for this role and that it's important to you, you're going to contribute to your overall statement. So an example of that would be, so here's my role for my son. And my role last week for him, or my goal last week for him, was his boss, he's had the same job now for about a year, and his boss at that position who hired him, who kind of mentored him, was let go of her role. Okay, I put on their recent loss, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, she passed away. It was just, she was let go from her role. But as my son, being his first time job, that was a brand new experience for him. Can anyone think back to when you had a job or a position that you had a really close person that you got along with, that mentored you, helped develop you, and then they're just gone? That's a lot to deal with, especially at 16. And so it was important to me to live this statement of showing respect, being influential, that we sat down and had a conversation. He works in retail. And you can only imagine half of the people that work where he does are the same age as him, right? They're high school students, they're college students. What do you think after this person was let go from the position? What do you think was going on at that store the next day?
A lot of water cooler talk.
Oh, yeah, you betcha.
I
And
got to be
so,
next.
oh, there you go, Richard. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Are they letting more people go? How does that feel? So you think about all those emotions and feelings. He's 17. How do you deal with that? How did you learn how to deal with that? I don't remember ever learning how to deal with that. So it was important for me that I helped him understand going to work and gossiping and getting involved in that water cooler talk was not appropriate. And that if he did that, how that was influencing those around him and how that was showing a lack of respect, not only for the person that was no longer there, but for those around him and himself. So we spent some time talking about that. I share a very proud mom moment now that when I started the conversation, I said, look, and I really want to talk about, when you go back to work tomorrow, you're going to hear the little scuttlebutts. You're going to hear the conversations and the gossip. And he goes, yeah, I know, Mom. They already started that today when I left. And he goes, people started asking me questions. And I just said, well, I don't really know. If you want to know something, you should go ask the new store manager. And he goes, and I walked away from the conversation. I didn't have to have the conversation with him because I was so flippin' proud that he already owned it. And so I kind of left it alone. A couple days later, I brought it back up again. I said, hey, I'm just curious. You getting some good gossip going on? What's going on? And he goes, no, I don't really know. Because I had so-and-so come to me and start talking about, oh my gosh, did you hear this is why they let her go? And this is this, and this is what's going on. He goes, I just smiled and said, oh, look, there's a customer. I got to go talk to them. He goes, I just completely ignored her. I probably got a little tear in my eye too. I'm so proud. I'm like, that's awesome. But that validated for me that I was doing the right things and I needed to continue that. But I also took that opportunity to validate to him that he was doing the right thing. And that's important. So now every week that changes. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about this every single week, but every week that's going to change. He's going back to school, virtual learning. That needs to be a conversation. What does that look like? What are your expectations? So the idea behind your roles are when you look at all of your roles, pick 5 to 7 every week, and then schedule some time in there. Why is it important that you take the time to schedule time to focus on this role?
You want to make certain you do it.
Yeah, because otherwise, if I just say this is important to me, granted, I need to live a certain way, right? I need to make choices. But if I don't actually schedule something, and I know that may sound silly to some, but let's get real. What does your day look like? How many of you run around like crazy every day? How many of you ever have a day at the end where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted, but what did I get done today? We all feel that way from time to time. And if we don't take the time to focus on our roles and those key relationships, there will come a time when you look back and think, oh my gosh, that great friend I had is no longer in my life. Why? Well, I didn't spend time on the relationship. I didn't spend time on what matters most. We bring our best selves to work every day and our lives every day by focusing on those things that are most important to us and living the way we want to be remembered at the end of our lives. When you write down all of your roles, what I want you to do is go back to those roles then and give yourself a grade. And you're literally grading yourself in 3 different categories. Look at that role, and this should be weekly, and say, am I underperforming? If I'm underperforming in that role, it means that I'm not doing what I should in this role, and I haven't spent much time here. So when you look at your roles, I literally write like a little U next to it to say, hey, I'm underperforming. The next thing is ordinary. Are you doing just the bare minimum on this role? Are you really not making much of a huge impact? And then lastly, extraordinary. Are you excited about what you bring to the table for this role? And then you evaluate that and then make adjustments accordingly. I'll throw myself under the bus. A daughter is a role, right? I'm very fortunate to still have my mom and my dad and some step parents. But my mom reached out to me last week and she basically gave me a big fat F when it came to my relationship. She's like, Kimberly, you haven't had time for me in months. What is going on? Did you forget about me? And then she went through all these emotions on, well, what did I do wrong? Did I not do this? Did I not do that? Did I not do that? And it made my heart just want to sink because I thought, no, Mom, it has nothing to do with you. I've just been really busy. And I forgot to focus on my role of daughter. So I can fix that, and I am. And I'm owning that. But if I want my mom to remember me, and I want to influence my mom and to bring my best self as a daughter to each day, I need to do things differently. This can be hard sometimes. That was a hard conversation for me. That was really hard to go back and say, holy crap, it's been months since I focused on my role as daughter. I'm always a daughter. I never lose sight of that. But I'd stop scheduling time to go have lunch with her, to go shopping, to do those things. I put other priorities in front of me, and it hurt. It hurt her, it hurt me, it hurt my son even, because he saw that. I wasn't bringing my best self to work every day. So with that, I'm going to leave you with a quote that those that know me, you hear me say this is my why. We all say we need to have our why. Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you do what you do? My why is that I get out of bed every morning to help people remember they're better than they think they are and they can do more than they think they can. It's not my quote. I'm borrowing it from Ken Klober, who created the Leadville 100. It's a 100-mile race in tough terrain in Colorado. Really cool, interesting guy, really neat concept. But I saw this quote, it was shared with me 20-some years ago, and it just stuck. And it really shifted my kind of thought process a little bit. I always knew it was my why, but it really solidified that for me. So all of my roles, all of my actions, everything I do are around me helping, enhancing those around me ability to remember and never lose sight that we are all better than we think we are, and we can all do a lot more than we think we can. So I'm going to leave up here with kind of a connect with me. If anyone wants to connect via LinkedIn, I don't know how many of you guys use your little LinkedIn code, QR code.
I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah, so this is really cool. So here's a little tip and trick for you. If you've never used this, this is actually really cool. So all you have to do is actually, you can put your phone up to the screen and actually just take a picture of that QR code. And what it does is it'll automatically pull up LinkedIn for you. So if you have LinkedIn app on your phone, it'll connect you automatically to my profile. If you don't, it'll actually ask you, do you want to connect to LinkedIn? And then it'll actually do that for you. And so then it automatically just connects the two of us. If you want to use this in any of things that you do, on any post, on any presentations, on marketing material, when you have LinkedIn on your phone on the app, go up to the very top. There's like a little bar there, and then you click on that and it'll drop down and say, view your QR code. And it's actually right there, and you can just snap a picture of it. It's an easy way to connect with people. So we are out of time. We're right at the hour. I encourage you to sit down, find 30 minutes in the next few days, and identify your roles and realize how important it is for each and every day and what we bring to the table. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you starting your Tuesday with me. It's great to see everybody. It's going to be a gorgeous day. Go out and remember, you control and influence everything.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. And thanks to everybody for coming in today.
Thank you.
Nikki said, thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
job. Shay also said,
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
thanks. See you.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.